Winchester House. The home was built by Sarah Winchester, heiress of the Winchester Repeating Arms Company. The Winchester rifle was nicknamed the gun that won the West. Unfortunately for Sarah, she was convinced that she was haunted by the spirits of the people killed by her family rifles. A medium convinced Mrs. Winchester that if construction was done on her home continuously, noise from sawing and pounding of nails would keep the spirit away. So work began on the fabulous mansion in 1884 and continued 24 hours a day until her death in 1922. The total cost $5.5 million. According to an inflation calculator, that's more than $80 million in today's money. She actually built the castle for ghosts. Here are a few famous stories related to Winchester House. Some employees who worked at the mansion for Mrs. Winchester are said to have stayed on after their deaths. There are footsteps heard shuffling to and from Mrs. Winchester's room. Her servants? There is an apparition with black hair who is frequently spotted pushing wheelbarrow. Perhaps that laborer is what a present-day worker encountered in the Hall of Fires, so named for its many fireplaces. Prior to the mansion opening for tours one day, the worker was on a ladder. He felt a tap on his shoulder and turned, and no one was there. The worker refocused on his attention on his task. That's when he felt what seemed like a hand pressing against his back. He was still the only one in the room, but no longer. That worker got out of there as fast as he can, leaving otherworldly laborer alone to handle the job. The 1906 earthquake that destroyed San Francisco also caused serious damage to the Mrs. Winchester house. In fact, she was trapped in the room until her workers were able to set her free. Deeply shaken by her experience, Mrs. Winchester had the room sealed. It stayed that way until last year, when the room was opened and added to tours. On one of those tours, a guide gathered participants in the room to explain the history that pointed out the object found inside more than 100 years after being sealed. The guy heard a loud sigh in a hallway and went outside to bring in the straggler. She did not find any tourist, but did see a small ghostly form gliding around the corner. The guide quickly followed. She still did not see anyone. Yes, she heard another sigh. Perhaps Mrs. Winchester had used the sealed room as a refuge from the tourists. What happened during the witching hour at the Winchester Mystery House? Strange things if surveillance video is to be believed. Take a look at this video below. Keep an eye on the top floor or balcony. What do you see at about 15 seconds in? Do you have any interesting stories related to this house? Please share with us, and you can submit your stories at the given email on your screens and our descriptions. Whatever happened to you in your life, something scary, horror, paranormal, supernatural, something creepy, mystery, you can share with us and I can share with the world. Okay, so let's wait for another video. Goodbye.